I'm on my way to meet up with Captain Gary. Gary's a longtime friend, man. I've been diving with him a long time, but I haven't dove with him in a really long time. I guess our schedules don't always line up when he goes and when I can go. So super stoked to be diving with him again. That guy, if you know him, he does these killer Gyotaku fish prints, bro. I'll put a bunch of photos right here, and yeah, just amazing work, flawless work, really cool brother. Always there to help whenever doing expos or events, dive tournaments. He's always there, bro. He's a really cool brother. And if you follow him on Instagram at Gyotaku_gypsy, that brought a pound. He found some fish, right? He's a good fisherman, super knowledgeable at diving. That's why whenever I go from him, I always bust out the pen and notepad because he always takes me to school. All right, guys, I'll see you in the water. Shoot. So today it was super nice. The water was glass, super clear, and I haven't went diving in a while. I was doing a lot of fishing lately, so finally got a chance to jump in the water and shoot some fish. Honestly, I haven't dove for like a month, so I don't even know if I still got it. So the water was a little bit dirty at the spots we wanted to go. Went to some spots that hold some game, and here I'm taking my first drop, but the surf swell was still kind of up from the weekend, so it was just a little bit surgy at the bottom. You can kind of see here that the surge is pushing me and pushing the fish. I can't even stay on the bottom, and I was kind of wondering why I couldn't just sit still. I mean, besides the surge. And in surge, I have a hard time diving, especially using the Hatch Rhino because it's zero buoyancy. The gun just goes. So I swim a little further down. I'm trying to check out the grounds, and I spotted like a little overhang, and I did see flashes of blue, which usually indicates that there's an Omilu inside this overhang. So I tried my best just to stay calm and wait for my drop, but they were kind of leaving the house already. So here I am taking a drop, just trying to cruise down, but like I said, it was super surgy, and for whatever reason I couldn't stay down. So you can see ahead as one Alua leaves, the surge is pushing me. I'm trying to go with the surge, and I'm just kind of out in the open. I'm spooking everything. There's fish running out the back, and then I was just like, oh, this is just a wasted drop. So I'm gonna go back up and just check out what else is around. So I'm checking the opposite side of the house just to see if there's any more life inside. Maybe they didn't leave, maybe there's another, you know, spot that they like to hang out. So here I am breathing up, trying to take my drop, just trying to get comfortable. I haven't dove in over a month, and this is about 30 feet of water. I forgot my dive watch, so I kind of threw off everything from the beginning. But yeah, here I am. I try to take my drop, and I'm still having a hard time just sit at the bottom. But here I'm looking at all the little white papilles that swim by. I didn't want to shoot any small ones. I figure I let those guys grow, and I swim away. I try to look where the house is, and there wasn't really anything inside. You can kind of see me struggling to stay down, grabbing rocks. I'm still here. I am hovering, even on the ground. So I'm constantly using a lot of energy trying to stay on the bottom. Here's Gary with his GoPro taking a drop. I signaled over to him that they're all small, so he just wanted to go down and double check what else to get. You can see that he slowly drops, and he doesn't want to scare the pile, especially they're right underneath him. So he's not making any, you know, sudden movements, just enjoying the view. There's a shaka to let them go. And as he turns around, he gets blessed with this perfect sized knife jaw for sashimi. Takes his shot, and the rest is history. So after Gary shoots this knife jaw, we head back on the boat, and then I realized why I was having a hard time dropping and stay down. So the last time I went diving, the water was still warm, so I wore a 1.5 millimeter wetsuit. So I took off weight because the wetsuit is thinner, and I forgot to put the weight back on as I wore 3.5 in colder waters. So one key is make sure that you're always geared up properly. You know, double check all your gear. That's something I forgot to do because I haven't dove in over a month. You know, you work out the little kinks when you're trying to get back in the groove. So this is the second spot that we went, and it was kind of all dead lands except for this this cave that we found, and I took a drop in it. I didn't see anything. And then Gary took a drop in it, and he said had one lure inside. I was like, no way. So here I'm approaching the house, and you can see it right there. But this house was so weird. Like, you can see just below how tight it is to even maneuver. If I was to go down there, I'd be probably kicking a lot, causing a lot of commotion. So I try to just wait, see if it'll give me a shot. Maybe I'll swim out of this crack right in front of me, but he doesn't. So I go back up to try a different approach because it didn't look like he was gonna come out of that little crack anytime soon. So after multiple drops, trying to get an angle on the lure, I decided to see if it was still even home because I didn't even see it after that first glimpse. So I decided to take a drop right in the middle of all the action and take a peek. I tried my best to maneuver down slowly and, you know, not make any fast sudden movements. Of course, it's a little bit challenging maneuvering a big gun into a small area, but I did my best. And as I hit the bottom to see how small it really is, I did not see the lure. And here's Captain Gary with another drop. I swam around and finally started to find some life, and as these small milus swam around me, what I thought was a nice sized yellow dot, it was an milu that swam right up to the surface as I took a low shot. He fought for a while and I was hoping he didn't rip off. I couldn't really dial in my gun today for whatever reason. Maybe just knocking off the rust, but I was just glad enough to get a shot off and have a fish on. When you know you took a bad shot and you can see that's just right on the edge, it's best not to horse the fish. Just gently pull the line close to you, let it fight, let it pull line, let it pull back, and just take your time. There's no rush at this point. These are the critical moments before you land the fish. You can see I go for the tail and he's still kind of lively, so I just kind of wait and then just end up bear hugging it. After I shot that omilu, I came into a real fishy area. Had a lot of life, had some joes or some munus, kumus. I seen some moos and a bunch of kalas, big school ta'ape. So I took a drop, and whatever it was about this day, fish just did not like me. They wouldn't give me a shot. They wouldn't give me a time of day. Even as much as I hit multiple drops, it didn't line up for me. But that's how it goes sometimes. That's why we go out, we do what we do every time. Every dive is different. You never know what you're gonna come across. So here I'm just taking a drop and enjoying some scenery. So I was doing my best to follow where the kumu was holed up. It was really reefy structure that I couldn't peek into, and I knew it was good size. I seen it kind of pop up every now and then, and I figure if I can't see into this crack real well, maybe I'll try shoot something to cause a commotion so that more fish come out and check it out and see what's going on. So I'm trying to peek under. You can see it's super dark. I can't even fit in there. So I line up on this towel and decide to try stir up some commotion. The kumu didn't come out, but the commotion brought in two curious kahalas. And kahalas are amberjacks, and usually the bigger ones, they have worms in them, so we don't usually eat them. But if you were lucky enough to find one without worms, they're pretty good eating. So you can see I tossed my throw flasher or crack pipe to try attract the fish back in. I'll throw a link in my description on how you can make one yourself. So the fish ended up coming in, slowly started coming in, so I took a drop nice and slow, lined up, and took a shot. I thought I stoned it, but it was a really high shot, and I had a really high chance of losing it. So same thing, I'm just letting it run, and I'm trying to keep it off that little overhang at the top of the screen, but it runs right for it and starts getting tangled up. At this point, I know that if I don't land the fish or put him down, I'm gonna lose it. So I reach for my knife and I realize that it's gone. Somehow, some way, it fell out. So instead, I undo my belt buoy from my dive belt, and I decide that I'm gonna go down, take a drop, and put down this kahala. So first thing first, put down your fish, and then you can go back and untangle the big mess. There's a kahala. You can see the shot. Pretty bad shot, but I was holding and I was able to land it. After this, I gave the fish to Captain Gary to throw on the boat, and then I went to go back to retrieve my flashers. I can see the worms that was already coming out, so just save down for some chum later. And one of the most epic part of this day was retrieving my flashers. I mean, it's very cheap to make. Like I said, there's a link in my description on how you can make your own crack pipes or throw flashers. So I dropped down, I grabbed my flasher, I looked to the left, and my knife is there. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. So I grabbed my first flasher, and then I actually dropped two. I dropped one right away when the kahala was swimming away, and then I threw the second one a little bit to my right so that they'll come in. Just a strategy, because they were kind of digging out already. So yeah, I ended up shooting this kahala and we moved spots. So diving was slow, so we tried our luck trolling along the ledge for some onos, but no strikes. And while we try to get one more spot in to end the day, this spot was super murky, but we just tried, you know, buddy system, one up, one down, right next to each other, just blind drops in the murk, then just try to strategize. So I took this drop after being signaled by Gary that there was an uhu down there. So you can kind of see it in the distance, and every time I try to line up and shoot, it spooks. Even though I'm just slowly moving around, it just wouldn't give me the time of day. Maybe it was the suit I was using. I don't know. Maybe they didn't like the Lua suit today, because they seemed to really love the Blinky Taco suit that Gary was wearing. So Uhu never gave me a shot, so I went up and had Gary go down and take a drop. The buddy system worked, and Gary was able to shoot that nice Uhu. So I'm breathing up at the surface. You can clearly see how green the water is. In my head the whole time I'm like, why did we jump in here? I mean, you can't make out any life on the bottom. You can barely even make out the bottom, and you just gotta trust your instincts before you take your drop into the murk. So as I was dropping slowly, I tried to look around. My body is completely in line, and I noticed that there's a fish pile hanging out right behind me. So I took a drop. I initially looked at the area where the red uhu was first, and I didn't really see anything, so kind of turned my attention to the pile behind me, and then in the distance I could see uhus, but the water was so dirty, it was so hard to make out the size. But they're just hanging out right behind that Palani Poalu pile, and I was so focused on the uhu that I didn't see these nice joes come in. And those are the little things that, you know, when you're out of the water for so long that you're not fully engaged with what's in front of you and what's going on. So same thing, just knocking off the rust. I could have shot a nice joe, but I signaled Gary to go take a drop, and next thing you know, he's coming up with a nice joe. Today I just follow around Captain Gary, watch him shoot all the good fish. The taco suit looks really good in murk, and I think I wore the wrong suit today, but either way, about to head in, call it a day, and thank you Captain Gary over there for taking me out. And I like short out because you get that. Yeah.
You can take pictures of me after too.
Oh, automatic. We can take them this way. I got my camera too, so.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Alright guys, like, subscribe, and join us on the next venture. Shoot!